mics are hot. Lillian's going home.
I'll call the regular meeting of the Newport Beach City Council for May 12th, 2009 to order. May we have the roll call, please?
The record will reflect that Councilmember Webb is absent, and it's an excused absence.
Okay. Do we have a closed session report from the city attorney?
We do, Mr. Mayor. The council met in closed session to discuss the matters on its current agenda as reflected in the open session agenda. In addition, it added another matter pursuant to Government Code 54954.2B2 as a matter that came up after the posting of the original agenda and needed to be addressed prior to the actual or the next regular meeting. And that was to discuss exposure to litigation with respect to one matter under 54956.9B, and that's related to the assessment district number 87, the Big Balboa Island Assessment District. Thank you. Oh, and two reportable matters on Pike and Rudder versus the City of Newport Beach. The council authorized the 6-0, the defense of the matter to the Office of the City Attorney and outside counsel. With respect to Abrams versus City of Newport Beach, the council authorized, again, the Office of the City Attorney through outside counsel to defend the matter. 6-0. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilman Rosansky, followed by the invocation by Pastor Bob Roger from Mariners Church.
Please join me in the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Thank you. Please join me as we pray. Father, we thank you for these leaders that serve our city and ask that you give them clarity and discernment in their thinking as they address the matters before them. May they be energized and equipped to make a positive impact on this city. For this opportunity and the blessings you give us, we thank you. Amen. Thank you.
Okay, the first item on our agenda tonight is an item that's been set for a time certain. This is the proposed assessment district, number 87, Balboa Island. This was set for a recount of the vote that was done at the last council meeting, April the 28th. I have had some requests to address the council before we get into the vote counting process itself, and with that in consideration, we decided to allow 15 minutes for public comment on it. We want to hear what you have to say, but we do want to get on with the vote counting and get on with the meeting at hand this evening. There has also been a request from the opposition to go last with their attorney, which I've granted. So right now, we'll have about 12 minutes of comments from anyone that wants to address the council on the Balboa Island Assessment District. So anyone that wants to speak, come up to the microphone. You'll have 3 minutes. Please state your name.
Good evening. My name is Ben Peters. I live at 302 Sapphire over on Balboa Island in a small house I recently overheard described by a neighbor as quite modest. So I live in a modest house. 3 points. First, thanks to all of you. I'm against this particular proposition, but you guys are working really hard. All the grief you go through listening to all us folks talk. I assume it's big bucks you're being paid to do it, so you can retire early, but in any case, honest things. I'm also a fan of Ms. Cox. Heard nothing but good things about her. Spoke to her tonight and said, sorry we're on the other side. If I could afford to hire you as an architect or as an engineer, I would, but she's great. It's not the people. My opposition is entirely economic. The world economy, the national economy, is clearly out of control, and my economy. I'm retired, living on a fixed income. Lots of us are, and lots of us are elderly. I just got a doctor's report which described me as an elderly male. in no acute distress. Well, I was in a great deal of distress after reading that, the E word. I'm also against a recount. Of course I am. You know, my side won, so of course I am. But if the recount proceeds, and this wraps it up, and the pro side wins this time, I would respectfully remind you of something you already know, and that is this council has the power to not go ahead with this. I think the economic times are just wrong. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for letting our council speak last. Every time I've
Can you state your name, Bob?
Bob McCaffrey, Newport Beach, Balboa Island. I don't agree with you. It's not fair to limit it to 15 minutes. Every time I've been to a council meeting, each person has 3 minutes. Please respect that.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker.
My name is Lee Gale. I live on Onyx as well as Ruby, and I object very strenuously for the council wasting the taxpayers' money. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. There was no objection to when you had the vote, and the no votes won. Yes vote didn't get up and say, hey, we want to recount. It was an employee of the city of Newport Beach, and I don't think she has any standing. So that's merely what I consider a very underhanded type of a situation. And if you end up doing this again tonight, and it does change, somehow miraculously, you've got a computer that'll wiggle it around, you're going to have the worst fight you ever had in your whole life. Why do you want to waste taxpayers' money? What's wrong with the vote? It was done legitimately. You've tried like the devil to get the project done because it's $10 million over what it should be, the bid. I would take the bid myself and go back into business any day of the week, but you won't let us rebid it. You won't let us do anything. You won't let us see the contract. That's totally illegal. I don't know why you want to waste taxpayers' money. You're supposed to protect the taxpayers. Why? Don't you think we've blown enough money already on this project? And I'd like to know, how much is it? This word is passed around that you've spent something like, was it $60,000 with the Harris Company? Or maybe it was more. I never got a true answer. Maybe you would give it to me, Ed. How much money has the city wasted?
Well, we're not here to answer questions, Lee. Just
Well,
give
why
your
not?
testimony.
We're in a friendly meeting. Why wouldn't you want to answer it? It's our money, you're a taxpayer. I object strenuously. You should stop it. No recount, no nothing. The district is dead, and quit screwing around and wasting taxpayers' money. It's just a sham. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Jim Maloney, council members, mayor. Jim Maloney from 314 Diamond. I realize I'm not in the majority here tonight, but I am I'm in support of the process and the proposal to underground. But I think if it doesn't pass tonight, for whatever reason, I think what the council should do is they should rebid the process, the proposal, and if it comes out lower, which it may, put out another vote. I just feel that to the extent that the city has already committed a certain amount of money to see whether this proposal has any merit among the residents of the island, just because it's so close. I understand it was 505, 501, and that's technically a 2-vote delta, because if you move 2 votes over, that would break it even, and then you wouldn't have a majority protest. So as close as it was or is, and maybe after the recount, I would just ask that if it is that close, we simply go back, because I don't think it's really very much money to go back to the contractors and say, the voters voted it down, but they missed it by 1 vote, put it out, take a couple million off, and maybe voters feel differently. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Robert Levin. I live on South Bayfront. I've been in town for about approximately 20 years or so. I have a couple of comments I'd like to throw at you. One, why did the city use an electrical contractor who's doing business with the city to count our votes? the possibility of a conflict of interest could and did come up when their representative asked for a recount, which could not be done that night because she let them go home. Doesn't the city have a competent staff on the payroll be able to count votes with both sides, having observers in the room? I would certainly think that the people that work for this city are very competent. I was present here when an engineer from the San Diego Electric Company said that it would never allow transformers underground because of water problems. Doesn't that count for anything? Possibly, Balboa Island has the lowest water level ratio in the city of Newport Beach, which makes that water level come over the seawall at times when we have a nice high tide. The last thing I'm concerned about is the growing animosity between the new neighbors and the old residents, as I hear complaints that if people can't afford the underground utilities, they should just move. This is not the type of environment that makes the island what it has always been, a very tightly woven group of friendly people who look out for one another. It's turning into a have and a have-not, and running and ruining the vibration and the charm that makes people want to come and live on Balboa Island. Please accept the carry the vote and vote no on this recount, because I think it really is atrocious.
Thank you.
Carolyn Carr, Balboa Island. I live on 118 Agate. I object in a couple of ways. I'm not on a fixed income. I'm on less than a fixed income because I'm in the housing industry, and we all know where that is right now. And I have all the little people, the older residents who are my clients, and they have come in on a regular basis to thank me for writing the Island newsletter and standing up for them in this issue. My biggest concern here is reflects from an article that was picked up yesterday on the AP from the Dallas Times, where they're talking about AT&T and Verizon are going to spin off their landlines, because landlines are an old technology. So 2 out of the 3 lines that we're burying in this situation are old technology. Time Warner, we can obviously get DirecTV and Dish without burying a line. Everybody is going to cell phones. India and China have totally skipped landlines and gone to cell phones. They are totally skipping electrical lines, and they're going to solar without lines. So why are we burying technology that isn't even going to happen in third world countries? What's wrong with us here? That's my problem. This technology is going to be outdated. We're spending a lot of money on it. And what we really should be worried about on Balboa Island is the seawall, because there is going to be global warming. And right now, we can watch the water come up to the seawall and over the seawall. And these vaults are going to flood. And then we're going to have no electricity, none, zero. So that's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, council members, my name is Brian Ozonian, 35-year property owner on Balboa Island. I was here on the 28th. I heard none, read none, no procedures for a recount. Not one. I personally would like to know if every one of you are in favor of this recount. Because what these yellow stickers are, we're voters too. And right now, it appears that there's a unanimous consent with all of you that there should be a recount. I think people would like to know if you all agree with this or not. There was no procedures for a recount. We're totally caught unaware of any tolerance, like other than what the mayor, on 2 occasions at the fire station and at the Balboa Island Improvement Association meeting, said it only takes 1 vote to win. 1 vote to win. Your integrity here, Mr. Mayor and council members, is at stake. Frankly, I think this is an embarrassment issue to the city, and you are part of that embarrassment issue. We have no basis for a recount. You've caught us totally unprepared. You've created an anger in the community. You've created animosity. Winners have a right to be winners. We still don't know what you're going to do with this count tonight. We're all guessing. And we're guessing with our pocketbooks hand over them. Now, I plead with you to reconsider this, and I don't know what it takes to get it stopped right now. But I plead that this is out of control. This is a runaway train politically. And there are major consequences to you all appearing to agree, because I have to assume that if this vote goes ahead, staff recommends it, all of you are concurring with it. So if we're assuming that you're all in favor of it, and there will be another election. And there's one thing as council members you know how to do, and that's count votes among yourself and among the community. And what's happened right now is you've breached the public trust, as another speaker said on the 28th. So I plead you to do the right thing and accept the vote as it was. You must have had confidence in those that tallied the votes. We had plenty of observers. It's not like it was done in a back room. It was fully in front of everyone, fully disclosed. And when you do things like this, it smells. It really smells. So if you want to sanitize yourself, I suggest that you stop this right now and fold your cards. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this will be the last speaker, then we'll have the attorney come up.
Oh, no, the last one. Okay. My name is Michael Smith. I live at 327 Onyx. I'm a lifetime resident of the island. I grew up here, class of 58, Newport Harbor High School. And I second pretty much what this gentleman said just now. I was present during the entire proceedings of the initial count, beginning to end. I was in that room with about, 20, 30 people, watched the recount, and it appeared to be done very efficiently and effectively. Came back here and almost fell off my chair. Number one, it was read. The results were read. The lady said, based on these results, recommend that the council abandon the assessment. There was a moment of silence, and Ms. Cox stands up and says, "May I say something?" And I knew what was going to happen, and it did. At any rate, there was no recount procedure set up. I think the vote should stand as close as it is. One other observation I'd just like to make, totally off the subject, but every time I think about it, I'm absolutely amazed that in this economy, at this time, when everybody is hurting for cash, we had the opportunity to say no, and we had a very high percentage of residents of Balboa Island voluntarily assess themselves, 17,000 give or take, when they could have said no. That absolutely blows me away. Why? I don't understand that. Everybody agrees it would look great, but in my case, not $21,945.88 great, or $185 a month for the next 15 years great. And we had a chance to say no and make a statement that no is no. It just amazes me that it is this close. I just can't believe it. Anyway, obviously I'm against it. I think the vote should stand.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll invite the attorney to come forward now.
I'll introduce the attorney who's going to address us. And I'd like to say to everyone that every meeting I've ever been to, you get 3 minutes. Anyone who wants to speak. They are sticking it down your throat.
Bob, come on now.
You are. Why don't you ask this audience? Tom Grossman, the illustrious city council.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, first I want
Can you state your name, please? Again.
Sorry, Tom Drossman. I want to commend to the council the staff that I had the privilege of being in contact with, Minette Beecham and Mike Sinacari in particular. Very professional, very helpful, very candid, and credit to the city. I have previously communicated my difficulties with the partiality of those who were tabulating the votes and those who are proposed to tabulate the votes, specifically the assessment engineer who stands to have additional employment if, in fact, this process goes forward, and the council that has now been requested to allocate in excess of $700,000 for monies that have been spent that now have to come from the general fund. because they would no longer be reimbursed by the assessment district. That, I think, creates the bias that the statute warns against. I have requested that the tabulation be done by an impartial group or an entity. That apparently has not been accepted. What we would request in the initial stage is that if the council wants to go ahead with the recount, that you recount those ballots that were accepted. That is, all ballots that were unaccepted or disqualified for whatever reason, unknown to us, of course, would be disqualified in this vote tonight as well. And we would just find out if there was, in fact, integrity in the vote of those ballots that were acceptable. In the alternative, if that is not acceptable to the council, then we ask that the rules for disqualification that were applied at the April 28th tabulation be disclosed so that we can know what those rules would be as it applies to the vote this evening. Those are my comments at this time, and I thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll close this portion of the public testimony. There will be an opportunity for those of you who have not spoken to address the council later in the proceedings this evening after the vote recount has taken place. Mr. City Attorney, have you heard anything in the testimony that would change your recommendation on how we proceed this evening?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. No, I have not. This is within the council's prerogative. I have prepared a memorandum addressing the issues that came up during the course of the count last meeting. It's my May 12, 2009 memorandum that there are copies on the back table to address. We've addressed the issues that have been discussed here. I think one of the things to keep in mind is the vote was close, and we certainly understand that there are a large portion of people against, but that there's nearly an equal for. So the purpose of a vote is to determine the will of the people, and I believe that's what the recount is intended to achieve.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'm sorry to do this, but I have wrestled all week because I did feel after I left that we had made a mistake. And I know this is not going to be popular, but I don't feel that we should recount the votes. And I'm not saying that because of that or because of votes out there. I'm just saying it because that's the way I feel, and not to say something seems to me wrong, and I'm sorry to put people in an awkward situation, but I would move that we do not recount the votes.
Okay.
I would have to agree with her. I think that, there is no clear mandate to do this, even if it swings one vote the other way. And I think that recounting it has simply created its own controversy. So I also oppose the recount.
Okay. Any other comments? Any other? Okay. Please vote. The motion is to not recount the votes.
With council members Hen, Rosansky, Curry, and Selich voting no, the motion does not pass.
Okay. Please, folks. Let's control ourselves. Okay. So the procedure that was outlined in the staff report was that we were going to adjourn over to the fire conference room and do the counting with limited observers there. It's my recommendation to the council that we not do that we do the counting in this room, that we go on with the meeting, and at the end of the agenda that we recess and do the counting and announce the results reconstitute the council meeting and announce the results this evening. So what we would do, if the council concurs with that, is we would move this item to the end of the agenda, and at that point in time, we'll do the recounting here and announce the results this evening. Is there any objection to that process? Okay, seeing none. You're out of order, Lee. You're- Lee, we're going to do the recount, and we'll follow through with that procedure. Okay. So we're going to move on to presentations. First presentation this evening is the 2009 Telly Award presentation to Police Officer Dave Sanborn for the Newport Beach Police Holiday Safety Production.
Good evening, Mayor Selich, members of the council. For the record, my name is Marilee Jackson, and I'm responsible for the presentations and, among other things, council meetings on Newport Beach Television, NBTV, our city government channel. Not only do we do council meetings, but we also do production, scheduling, playback of anywhere from 8 to 10 different programs every month. Every once in a while, a program comes along with exceptional quality and content, and such was the case with a program that was produced under the direction of Officer David Sanborn within the Newport Beach Police Department. He produced a show for NB Police. The program aired, excuse me, I have fighting bronchitis. The program aired last November and December, and it was entitled Holiday Safety. What Officer Sanborn did, he took 3 exceptional scenarios. One of them was holiday safety in shopping centers and how people can manage to take care of themselves in the crowds. Another one was informing citizens of how to take care of home, guide against home break-ins, burglaries. And the third one was smash and grab, where thieves would break car windows and take items of value left in plain sight on the car seats. Holiday Safety aired last fall, and I asked Chief Klein's permission to enter this in a competition called Telly Awards. Now, Telly Awards have been around for over 30 years. The organization exists specifically to give recognition to film and video productions made not only by municipalities such as ours, but also advertising agencies and public relations firms nationwide. The entry won, and it won in the category of education. And so tonight, Mr. Mayor and Council, I'm here to hand over this award to Chief Klein, the Newport Beach Police Department, and Officer Sanborn. And I think if they have a couple words to say, and then after that, I'd like perhaps, Mayor, for you to come down and have a picture taken. Thank you.
This was a great opportunity for us to really showcase some of the things that we do in the police department. We've done 6 or 7 shows, each show having about a 10-minute segment with 3 different segments. And when we were trying to develop how we're going to do this, I reached out to the department to find people that were interested in doing it. Dave stepped up, and he did a phenomenal job. And if you get a chance to see it, the quality is exceptional. And I didn't know what it was going to turn out to be. He really has done a phenomenal job. He's very creative, and in some ways it's hard for me to keep him doing his police job because he's so creative in other areas. You actually see some of his work on the police cars. He's also the one about a year ago that designed the new logo on the police cars. So he's very talented. So I'm proud to present this to Dave Sanborn for all his hard work and dedication.
Dave, are you the guy that gave me the ticket on my motorcycle?
Yeah. That's the first issue I was going to bring up. I thought we should clear it up. But yeah, I was. I just wanted to thank the council for taking the time, and the chief, Lieutenant Fox, and Sergeant Saylor for supporting me through this and giving me the opportunity to even do it. So thank you very much.
Maybe he can do a segment on motorcycle safety, Mr. Mayor.
Boy, I thought he looked familiar. Okay, next presentation is a check by the Newport Beach Library Foundation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Cynthia Cowell, a new name for some of you. And I'm the director of the library, and I'm here tonight on behalf of the board of the foundation to present a check to you in the amount of $36,239. I'm sorry that none of the foundation board members could be here. I hope they're all out trying to raise more money for the library. But that being said, I'm proud to present this check to you.
Okay, we have one unscheduled presentation this evening, and it's a proclamation on Poppy Week. Is there someone here to receive the proclamation? Okay, I'll start off reading this. This is a proclamation of the City of Newport Beach, whereas nearly 1 million members of the American Legion Auxiliary, the world's largest patriotic service organization of women, are asking every elected and appointed official of the local, state, and national level to wear a poppy on the observance of Memorial Day, May 25, 2009, and the poppy honors the millions of Americans who have willingly served and who are currently serving our nation, all too many who have made the ultimate sacrifice. And the poppy also honors the hospitalized and disabled veterans who make these red handcrafted flowers. The poppy continues to provide a financial and therapeutic benefit to those veterans who constructed them, as well as benefiting thousands of other veterans and their families by the revenues collected from poppy distributions. And in battlefields of Belgium during World War I, poppies grew wild amid the ravages of war. The overturned soils of battle enabled the poppy seeds to be covered, allowing them to grow and flower forever as a reminder of the bloodshed of war. Now, therefore, I, Edward Selich, Mayor of the City of Newport Beach, on behalf of the entire Newport Beach City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th to May 23rd, 2009 as Poppy Week in the City of Newport Beach, California, and I urge all residents to recognize the importance of the poppy and what it represents, a symbol of the price of war and the sacrifice of millions. In witness hereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Newport Beach to be affixed this 12th day of May 2009. Edward Selich, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Council members, my name is Karen Karanickolas. I'm president of the American Legion Auxiliary here in Newport Beach, and this is our Miss Poppy for the year. And we would like to thank you for letting us join you today and proclaiming Poppy Week for us. As the mayor indicated, in the battlefields of Belgium during World War I, poppies grew wild amid the ravages of war. The overturned soils of battle enabled the poppy seeds to be covered, allowing them to grow and forever serve as a reminder of the bloodshed of war. In 1921, the American Legion Auxiliary adopted the poppy as the organization's memorial flower and pledged its use to benefit our servicemen and their families. Each 9-piece red poppy is handcrafted by hospitalized and disabled veterans, providing a financial and therapeutic benefit to those veterans who construct them. The auxiliary provides the materials, and the veterans are paid a small amount for each painstakingly made flower. No matter what the cost of maintaining and supplying the poppy shops, the memorial poppy is never sold, but given in exchange for a contribution. Please honor us, these men and women, by wearing your poppy during Poppy Week and on Memorial Day. I'd now like to introduce our Miss Poppy, Rachel Heidemann, who is going to read you the poem In Flanders Fields.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row. That marks our place in the sky, the larks still bravely singing. Fly scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up the quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands, we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. But if ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
Okay, we're each going to get a flower. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Notice to the public, the city provides the yellow sign-in card to assist in the preparation of the minutes. The completion of the card is not required in order to address the council. Speakers must limit comments to 5 minutes on agenda items. The council has a discretion to extend or shorten the time limit on agenda or non-agenda items. As a courtesy, please turn cell phones and pagers off or set them in the silent mode. Now is the time for city council announcements or matters which council members would like placed on a future agenda for discussion, action, or report.
Okay, Councilwoman Davis.
Yes, the Keep Your Teen Safe Forum took place on April 21st, and that's hosted by our police department and the school district. And it's an educational program directed at teenagers and parents. And among the topics were teen driving and substance abuse. And I want to express my appreciation to the police department. And once again, they lived up to their motto, which is protect and serve. And on May 27th at the library, there's going to be a program on internet safety. And that's also going to be hosted by the police department. So if you're wondering what your children and grandchildren might be doing on the computer, or who might be trying to reach your children or grandchildren through the internet, this educational program might provide you some insights and also some tools and strategies and on how to address that. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Gardner.
Yes, June 6th is the Cronenmar 5K, so I expect everybody out there with their running shoes. It's going to be, I think they call it, Mike, you're a runner, a chip race, where they put the chip in your shoe so that when you don't, if you don't start at the front, you automatically get like 5 minutes added to your time. Well, this way you will get your true time, so it doesn't matter where you start in the race. And also, for those of you who are interested in what's happening with Banning Ranch, there is going to be a panel discussion between the owners who are would like to develop it, and the Banning Ranch Conservancy, which would like to keep it as open space, and that will be Wednesday, May 20th at 5:30 at the Environmental Nature Center. And I would also like to thank staff. You guys did a great job on the marathon. I mean, boy, the streets were taken care of, and it was amazing. I don't know if any of you got out there to see it, but it was the longest stream of runners I have ever seen, and I'm here to tell you that marathon runners come in every shape and size. We all think of them as these whip-it-thin people, and not at all. There were people there that you go, I can't believe you're going to run 25 miles or however long it was. It was very well done, so thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Hen.
Two quick items. I note on the consent calendar tonight, item number 14, regarding the spending of stimulus money that may be available to us. The city staff has managed to garner some support for the repaving of Balboa Boulevard between 22nd and 44th Street on the peninsula, which is a sorely needed improvement, and I wanted to thank city staff for being alert and putting that together, and especially on behalf of the residents of that area, who I'm sure will be very appreciative. And then the second thing is the American Cancer Society sponsors every year its major fundraiser called Relay for Life. This year it's being held May 15th and 16th at the Newport Harbor, that's this Saturday and Sunday, Newport Harbor High School. And your city council has formed a team to participate in that fundraiser to help raise money for the cure for cancer. Our team is called Council Critters. We've committed to run a half marathon. Speaking of running, we're not going to have chips. We're just all going to subtract 5 minutes from our time. And so on behalf of the Council Critters, I invite everyone here and all the audience looking in tonight, please support the American Cancer Society and the Relay for Life through your contributions. Although time is short, you don't need to worry about that. You can make your contribution anytime. In fact, even after the race is over. It's a very worthy cause, and I invite you to do that.
I think we should clarify that Councilman Hen is running the half marathon. The rest of us are probably going to walk a lap.
I'll carry the banner.
Councilman Rosansky.
Nothing, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Curry.
As most of you know from my previous report, in April, City Manager and I had the opportunity to represent the city as part of our Sister City program in Okazaki, Japan. It was the 25th anniversary of our relationship with Okazaki. And we were presented this lovely Shogun's helmet and this beautiful box by the mayor of Okazaki, Kiyoshi Shibata. It arrived today through international post, and it's a beautiful replica of a shogun's helmet. Okazaki is the ancestral home of the Tokugawa shogunate, who was the shogun who united the Japanese islands. And so there's a castle there. It's a very historic part of Japan, and this is indicative of the great respect and affection that they showed us during the trip, and will be displayed here at City Hall for all to enjoy. It's really a very beautiful memento for the trip. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just have one quick announcement. This Sunday, May 17th, is the 15th annual Balboa Island Art Walk. It's the kickoff of the summer season. They're celebrating their 15th anniversary this year. It's going to be held on Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. There'll be 80 talented local artists who are going to set up along the South Bayfront Promenade from Marine Avenue past the ferry landing to Pearl. There's going to be live music along the way. So it should be a good art show, be a lot of nice pieces of artwork there, and a chance to get out and visit and walk around Balboa Island. That's Sunday, May 17th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Consent calendar. All matters listed under consent calendar, items 1 through 14 and supplemental item 18, are considered by the council to be routine and will all be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. The City Council members have received detailed staff reports on each of the items recommending an action. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time the council votes on the motion unless members of the council, staff, or the public request specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar for the separate action. Members of the public who wish to discuss a consent calendar item should come forward to the lectern upon invitation by the mayor and state their name and item number. If the optional sign-in card has been completed, it should be placed in the box provided at the podium.
Okay, Councilmember Henn.
I have nothing.
Councilman Rosansky.
I'd just like to register. Oh, no, nothing. Thank you.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Curry.
No items to pull. Just to note that item number 7 contains funding for improvement of the long-standing drainage pavement issue on Spyglass Hill Road at the entrance to Harbor Hill, which I know a lot of residents have long time wished we could get fixed, and tonight we're doing it.
Okay. Councilwoman Daigle?
Yes, I'd like to pull item 12, and I have some comments on number 13. Number 13 is the city is sending a letter of support for a train that's going to run from Anaheim to Las Vegas, Nevada, through Ontario. And the reason that we're supporting it is that we're guided by our aviation policy. And part of that policy is that we support ground-based transportation that's going to take people to other airports. So I just wanted to note that we are supporting that particular plan.
Okay. Councilman Gardner?
Nothing.
Okay. I have nothing.
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
I would like to register a no vote on item number 3.
Okay. Staff have anything they want to pull?
I have nothing.
Okay. Does anyone from the audience want to pull anything from the consent calendar? Okay, seeing no one, I'll bring it back for vote.
Mr. Mayor, I would move approval of the consent calendar, items 1 through 14, with the exception of 12, item S18, and note Mr. Rosansky's opposition to number 3.
Okay.
Second.
Please vote.
Motion carries.
Okay. Councilwoman Daigle, you pulled item number 12.
Yes, I just wanted to bring some clarity to a couple of issues, or try to. And first, I appreciate that the committee has already made some progress on the city manager recruitment. And the first question is just to establish for the public that we are recruiting, we are conducting an outside recruitment.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then with regards to qualifications, the memo states that that appears to already be a document on qualifications. And my question is, will the qualifications document with any amendments come to the council so that there would also be the opportunity for public input?
Yes, that's correct. We'll be bringing it to the council in closed session to discuss, and then it'll be made public.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
For the job description.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
Okay. That was the clarity I was seeking. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments from the council?
Move approval of item 12.
Second.
Okay. Does anyone from the public want to comment? Seeing no one, please vote.
Motion carries.
Okay, oral reports from City Council on committee activities. Councilwoman Daigle?
I have none.
Councilwoman Gardner?
The Newport Bay Executive Committee met, and we are discussing several plans that will help us with trash in the bay. And I don't know if everybody realizes it, but this is a coalition of cities, county, and the Irvine Ranch Water District, the Irvine Company. And we all have different allocations of what we pay for different things. And in this case, if this were approved, the city share would be about 6.8%. And to give you an idea, the city of Irvine's would be about 40%. So it would be, we allocate by area in this case. So I'm hoping that will make a difference in what comes down to our bay and our sensitive areas.
Thank you. Councilman Henn?
Yes, I chair the ad hoc committee for group homes, and just wanted to provide an additional update. One of the things that we do is help to encourage effective lobbying at the state level, and we've had some limited success in that respect. Tom Harmon, our representative in Sacramento, has put forth a bill asking to regulate further the approval and licensing of group homes at the state level by requiring that they pass a current fire safety inspection at the time of both application for a license and renewal of the license. That's different from what it has been. As well as to require that the applicant obtain certification that the local jurisdiction has agreed that the zoning is correct for such a facility. We think these are reasonable requirements, and for the first time, we got out of Senate committee, the Health Services Committee, with a positive vote to move forward with that. Councilmember Rosansky appeared in Sacramento to try that 2 years ago and went down 13-0. I tried it last year and went down 11-2, and this year we got it passed. So
probably because neither of us showed up.
That may well be, and it's not over yet. It still must be approved by the legislature as a whole, and who knows what will happen between now and then. But at least that's progress. And then with regard to the ongoing process of reasonable accommodation and use permit hearings, Balboa Recovery's reasonable accommodation hearing for 204 21st Street was approved, but in a limited amount, 3 people upstairs and 3 people downstairs, as opposed to the original population of 12 for that facility. 2 other locations were continued to May the 20th at 4 p.m. here in the council chambers for the finishing of that hearing. Ocean Recovery's location at 1115 West Balboa was approved on May the 7th. It was approved for a maximum occupancy of 18, down from 22 in the original application. The reasonable accommodation hearing for Kramer Center on April the 29th was continued to June the 3rd here in the council chambers. And so we continue to make steady progress dealing with these. We've approved some, we've disapproved some, and we've approved some with reductions and conditions. And so it seems as though the process is working about as we had hoped that it might. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Rosansky?
Nothing, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Curry?
No items.
Okay, I have none. We'll move on then to our public hearings. We'll go to item number 16. This is the Hoag Memorial Hospital Presbyterian Series 2009 Healthcare Facility Revenue Bonds. Do we have a staff report on this?
Well, we will. Dennis Danner is stepping forward. But these are the type of bonds that the City Council in 1984, 1992, 96, 99, 2005, 2007, 2008 were used as the financing vehicle in order to issue these bonds to assist Hoag Hospital Memorial Presbyterian. There is no cost to the city. In fact, the city is being reimbursed $25,000 to compensate us for staff time. There is no risk to the city's general fund. And Dennis, since you're here, I'll turn it over to you if you have anything to add.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I think City Manager Bluedow just gave my staff report. We have representatives here from Hoag Hospital if you have any questions. As Homer mentioned, there is really no, these are conduit bonds. They're really not obligations of the city. That's established through the indentures and the loan agreements. And so this, according to my notes, this is there's been 7 previous bond issues that we've assisted, the city has assisted Hoag Hospital with. This will be number 8. And the most recent one was last year, 2008. And so the action before you this evening is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution that authorizes the sale of not to exceed $250 million in City of Newport Beach revenue bonds, Series 2009, Hoag Memorial Hospital Presbyterian, Series 2009. Authorize the execution and delivery of one or more loan agreements, the execution and delivery of one or more indentures, the execution and delivery of one or more official statements, the execution and delivery of one or more bond purchase contracts, and direct staff to take the necessary steps to provide for the sale and issuance of the 2009 bonds. And again, I'll be glad to answer any questions, and I know there are people from the hospital.
Okay, Councilman Gardner?
I was just going to move the action.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Rosansky, do you have questions? Okay. All right. We'll open the public hearing. This is a public hearing to consider the issuance of tax-exempt bonds for the purpose of financing and refinancing the construction and equipping of health facilities known as Hoag Memorial Hospital Presbyterian, located in the city of Newport Beach, California. The public hearing regarding the financing is required by federal law. The public hearing is now open. We will now hear from any person who wishes to speak about the proposed financing. Does anyone wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, were any written comments received on the proposed tax-exempt bonds for the project received by the city clerk prior to this hearing? Any written comment? No written comments. Okay, I'll now close the public hearing and bring it back to council for a vote. Please vote.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item on the agenda is public comments. Madam Clerk.
Public comments are invited on non-agenda items generally considered to be within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. Speakers must limit comments to 3 minutes. Before speaking, please state your name for the record.
Okay, does anyone wish to address the council on something not on the agenda this evening?
Good evening, Mayor Selich, council members, city staff, Randy Seaton, 110 Topaz, Balboa Island. First of all, I just want to say thank you to the council, Leslie and Dave Kiff, that's not here, for the work done to secure the funds for dredging in our upper bay, which is really important. And I really have a message for the people in Newport Beach on this dredging issue, is that to look at the reason why we're dredging the back bay and how all the silt got there since 1965, when it was a recreational area where we used to water ski as kids. And there's a place called San Diego Creek, which I'm kind of getting to be a thorn about that. Nancy knows we're on a committee together. And the thing is what's happened is from development in Orange County, and a lot of it we call overdevelopment, planned development, is basically the county, with the help of the Irvine Company and other developers, have all aimed their stormwater runoff systems through the engineers of the county to dump their water and all these silts, toxics, into our bay. And what I want people to understand is that the San Diego Creek doesn't end at Jamboree Road in the upper bay. The water continues with fine sediments, flows into our lower bay, which we've seen some filling there of these sediments, and continues out through our harbor entrance, which really is the end of the pipe. So our bay has really been turned into a flood control system by the county. We should really be on top of this. I could say outraged, but I think it's time that we're going to be fixing this and to look if this doesn't happen again for future generations to enjoy Newport Beach. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I was wanting to discuss item number 5 in the consent calendar. Is that still okay? I missed that.
Well, let's hear what you have.
Okay, I'm Lisa Sabo, and I live in Newport Beach, and thank you for hearing our cause and even putting this on your agenda. It's for the resolution and support in keeping the Equestrian Center at the Orange County Fairgrounds. And my husband and I have been training horses for over 30 years. We've been here through the 80s part-time, and then we moved here full-time in the year 2000. And a lot of wonderful things happen at the Equestrian Center, and we're looking for support from the council members to help us keep it alive. Over 250 teenagers come through there on a weekly basis to ride horses. And we have, at one time in the arena, there will be kids that are 8 and adults up to 80, all riding together and enjoying the sport of equestrian activities. We've also started the Park Place Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that teaches free riding lessons to kids of Heritage House and Chalk Children's Hospital, and that goes on a couple days a week. Also, the UCI equestrian team works out of there. I mean, so many things, wonderful things happen at the Equestrian Center. We just implore your support to help us keep the Equestrian Center alive. So thank you very much for hearing our cause and putting it on your agenda.
You do know that it passed?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yes.
Unanimously passed.
Well, Brian Ozonian again. I'm talking to follow up on the dredging issue, specifically about Balboa Island. I'm sure you all know about eelgrass by now, and one of the other issues that's still out there that needs resolution is relief for dredging around the island and other bay properties to reinforce the seawall. This is a very difficult situation. I know that there are certain laws you have to follow, but it's a developing law, and I believe that there should be a safe zone to where property owners can dredge their property to within a certain proximity away from the seawall to get relief, to reinforce their seawall and protect their property. As mentioned, the Art Walk is coming this weekend. There's a lot of iconic value to Balboa Island. If we want to preserve that, the dredging for property owners along the water's edge is a very difficult problem. If you go on the peninsula, you'll see there's 2 America's Cup boats. It's really a shame to watch them go aground and have to be damaged because they can't dredge the property. And there needs to be a balance here, and I hope you can consider that in the future to give property owners along the waterway relief so they can dredge. And when property owners go in together, the cost is reduced. It's economies of scale, and there's a good way to do that. And I hope that the momentum and the discussion about the Upper Bay also follows through to the property owners around the harbor. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Charles Griffin. I have had a home on Balboa Island for about 55 years, and I want to support what the gentleman said before me, but also with global warming and the glaciers of the Antarctic melting and Greenland melting at an accelerated rate. We need to look forward to raising that seawall around Balboa Island. And also to mitigate and slow down that process, we need another source of energy other than oil and gas and coal. And I want to, at this time, to bring you aware of a new energy power system being developed by the Navy for its ships. They're going to fuel it with fusing hydrogen and boron, which breaks up into non-radioactive helium, accelerated helium ions that can generate electricity directly. And so I think you need to look forward, follow that on Google. The name of the website is emc2fusion.org. But as that gets developed, it should be available for us to have our own city power company, not only to utilize this reasonable, clean source of power, but also it would help be utilized for desalting the ocean and making water available for us in the city at a reasonable rate. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, seeing none, I'll close public comments. Next item is current business. Item number 17, establishment of a summer water taxi exploratory committee. The action is to adopt the resolution making the appointments to the committee. It's pretty straightforward except for the marine business representatives. We had 4 candidates. 1, Jim Mahoney, is withdrawn, and we have 3 other candidates, and unless someone has another suggestion, I would propose that we appoint Chandler Bell and Mark Sylvie to those two positions. And
I'll second them, or make that motion.
Second.
okay, any discussion? Okay, please vote. Okay, and
Motion carries.
it authorizes the mayor to appoint a committee chair. Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody from the public want to comment on this one? Okay, seeing no one. The vote was approved. Okay, then there's also the authorization of the mayor to appoint a committee chair from the membership, and I'll appoint Mike McNamara as the chair of that committee. Okay, that brings us back to item number 15, the Balboa Island assessment.
Oh, sorry. S19 and S19.
Oh, I'm sorry, got the supplemental items. Okay, S19, the approval of the scope of work for the air quality testing study relating to John Wayne Airport jet aircraft emissions, and authorization to enter into a standard professional services agreement with Dr. Carlene Souter-Boyle for the study. Do we have any additional information from staff?
I don't have any additional information, but since there are so many residents from Balboa Island here, I have, over the last 10 years, there have been a number of questions from people on Balboa Island because of the overflights, and that is about the grit sediment that ends up on patios and cars and on windows in homes. So what this study would do would be to test for the jet engine emissions in order to see if there are any adverse health impacts. It's been that the science has not been there so far in the past to differentiate between the chemical fingerprint of diesel exhaust and jet engine exhaust. Now it seems like the science is there, that the testing can confirm that particulate does come from jet engines, and we feel like it would serve our community well to authorize up to $62,000 for this study. We expect the results of the study would be come back to you in January of 2010.
Councilman Daigle?
Yes, I want to thank the city manager for that report, and also for all of your support of the Citizens Aviation Committee. I serve on that committee with the mayor and Councilman Don Webb. And over the years, environmental impacts have been the cornerstone of our strategy to contain growth at John Wayne Airport. So this study is one more piece of trying to move in that same direction. So I would make the motion to approve the study.
Second.
Okay. Does anyone from the public want to comment on this? Okay, seeing none. Sure.
Charles Griffin of Balboa Island again. And my history, my career primarily was spent in designing, developing, building, testing, and jet engines and jet aircraft and automatic throttles for controlling them. And primarily, the jet engine produces carbon dioxide and water vapor. And it does it very efficiently, but it does also apparently produce a very small amount of microparticles, which and I appreciate the study of doing that now. We've done studies in the past for EIRs at John Wayne Airport, which determined that most of the black stuff that appears on our patios is primarily diesel carbon exhaust particles and also rubber tire particles. And I've been cleaning it off our Balboa Island patio since I was a child, before the jet engines, and I flew out of John Wayne Airport. However, I think my wife now has a serious, undefined, lingering lung infection of some kind. We don't know yet, and it may very well be due to these microparticles. And so I wish you to follow up on this, and also to work toward getting the airport closed and moved to the Antelope Valley, away from the, and have a high-speed maglev system take us to the airport. It actually, to those airports, which then can serve an international and go anywhere in the world nonstop from those airports. And the new maglev system in Japan runs 350 miles an hour, and is faster than the aircraft, which can only go 288 miles an hour below 10,000 feet altitude. So I really urge you to follow up on promoting the maglev system to Las Vegas and from Anaheim, and possibly joining a side track to Irvine or our location here for that high-speed service. And it would be powered, of course, by the hydrogen boron electrical power, which is just coming online. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on this item? Okay, Councilman Curry?
Well, I think of all the studies we do, I think this is one of the most important ones because it really helps set the stage and provide documentation as we look towards the renewal of the settlement agreement in the years ahead. So I'm fully in favor of this, and I know Airfare is weighed in. They're in favor of it, and I think it's going to give us some good information as we continue to work on airport containment here in Orange County.
Councilman Henn, did you have a comment? No. Okay. All right, please vote.
Motion carries.
Okay, then our next item is another one of those supplemental ones that sneak in on me. Council consideration of retaining an executive search firm to conduct the recruitment for the upcoming city manager vacancy. Councilman Henn and Mayor Pro Tem Curry and I interviewed Terry Black, and it's our recommendation that we direct the city manager to have a contract prepared for our next city council meeting. What was the full name of the firm?
Terry Black and Company.
Terry Black and Associates. So that we would hire that firm. We discussed her qualifications and her method of doing the recruitment, and I think we all felt very comfortable with her competency in moving ahead. And I don't know if Councilman Curry had any additional comments on that.
I would just concur. I think it was a very professional approach. It was one that I think gave us confidence that we're going to be able to see and evaluate a lot of very good candidates for this job. And she also gave us comfort that she was going to really try and get out and evaluate and get the pulse of the community and reflect that in the search, too, because that's a very important element of what the city manager does. So I think we both felt very, very good, or all three of us felt very, very good about that selection.
Councilman Head, did you have anything?
Yeah, no, I'm very happy with that selection as well. And wanted to follow up again on Councilwoman Daigle's question about the process here, where we will have a reviewed and approved city manager position description that will be a matter of public record and allow for public input and comment. And so I think we're going about this in a very thoughtful way and in a very wide-ranging way to make sure that we find the very best candidate, which may actually already work for the city or not, but we'll see after we go through the process.
Okay, Councilman Gardner?
Move the action.
Okay, anyone from the public want to comment? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back. Call for the vote.
Motion carries.
Okay, now we'll come back to agenda item number 15. This is the recount of the Balboa Island Assessment District number 87. We'll recess the meeting at this time, and the count will take place down at the table.
Mr. Mayor, I think there's observers and things. Did you want to clarify that for the benefit of the public?
Well, anyone can observe. We would like everyone to...
I thought that we had somebody from the Orange County voters.
Oh, the outside observers.
Yeah.
Would you like to comment, Mr. Hunt?
Yes, pursuant to discussions with the council and staff, we invited a couple of different neutral potential observers to join us. We did get a response from the County Registrar of Voters. I understand that there's a representative from the Registrar of Voters to assist with respect to observing the actual ballot recount and to assist us in assuring its compliance with state law.
Okay.
We also asked the Women League of Voters, but we're unable to make those arrangements.
And has everybody had a chance, do they realize that your report is there, which talks about how the ballots were sealed and everything, so there's...
Yeah, if I may.
Go ahead.
The staff report addresses the issue of what we call in the law the chain of custody, and how the ballots, in fact, were sealed, remained in the custody of either members of the staff or representatives of the staff of the city of Newport Beach, that they were signed over as sealed by the city clerk, put in their vault and maintained in a secure situation so that there could be no tampering with the ballots, that they will be brought here from the vault and in their sealed condition and opened here. We've taken every step that we know how to assure the compliance with state law and to assure that the ballots have not been tampered I have prepared a memo addressing the questions as I had understood them to be raised. I was gone a good deal of last week, but there's a memorandum in the back dated May 12th, which is today, addressing the balloting and recount issues and the questions that were asked with respect to how we can proceed forward.
Okay, any other comments from the council? Okay, we'll now recess the council. I want to remind everyone that there will be an opportunity to address the council after the recount vote is announced. So at this time, we'll recess and go on with the vote counting. Are we ready? Okay, I'll bring the council meeting back to order. Madam Clerk, do we have the result of the vote?
Yes, we do. Honorable Mayor and council members, based on the tabulations for the ballots received, 49.7% of the ballots were submitted in favor of the assessment district. 50.3% were submitted in opposition of the assessment district.
Okay. Quiet, please. Okay, I'll open it up to public comment if anyone feels they need to address the council. No, you've already spoken. It's people that haven't spoken already.
Are we doing 3 minutes?
Yeah, 3 minutes. Everyone has 3 minutes.
My name is Ben Schmidt. I live on Pearl Avenue on Balboa Island. Have been a resident for some 50 years. And I would like to hand these out, some 11 each. Can you get one? Being a civil engineer, we wanted the district to be approved, but I voted no because I did not think that the layout of the plan was sufficient to cover us for the next 30 years. The dilemma is that I did not know of any survey of the existing water lines and gas lines that could tell us that those were serviceable for the next 30 years. The city would pay for the water, the gas company for the gas lines, but there was no way of knowing just by digging a trench for the power and the telephone and the cables that little 3-foot trench would not have to be split again into other trenches to take care of the other utilities. So what I've said then is that the city, from what we understood, for the $20 million for the assessment, there would be another $2 million the city would spend for replacing the sewer lines. The sewer lines go on the north alleyway going east-west and on the south alleyway. You know that because the manhole covers are there along those two strips. And I mentioned before that the water table is a problem on the island because the water table from the tide can be down as low as 3.5 feet and down as low as 4 or 5 feet and as high as 3.5 feet. And so when you start to bury things, you have to do it in the water. Now the sewer line, I checked with the city, the sewer line depth varies from 4 feet to 8 feet deep. If the city then is to replace the sewer lines, they're going to have quite a chore, which we all, as an engineer, that could be done because you have to, if it's more than 5 feet deep, you have to shore the sides so that cave-ins can occur. Then what you'll do, you'll shore it, and then when the low tide is, you'll pump the water that's in the slot. You'll do sections that might be 100 feet a length or 80 feet, and you secure that area. You'll pump it out. You lay your pipe down in the gravel and rock is required, and then you backfill, and then you go do the next 80 feet. It's a slow process, but before you do that, I believe it'll require you to take the entire alley slab out because you can't just go dig a 4-foot trench or 6-foot trench and put that sewer line in. And there will also be manholes. The manholes, I believe, are now brick, unreinforced brick, and they'll be replaced with nice precast concrete that are pretty good in diameter. They may be 4 feet or more in diameter. So once you decide then, and we assume that with your $2 million, you will still, whether it went through or not, you will replace those sewer lines that are in need of it. And so in that case then, and you take the alleys out, then those people who live in the homes on the north and south
Can you wrap
bay-
it up, Ben? Your 3 minutes has expired.
Okay, that's it. You've got the letter, and I will pursue you later.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other comments?
Hi, I'm Larry Kalistad, live on Balboa Island. Actually, I'm here to commend the council for the restraint in not reacting to the rudeness of some of my neighbors on Balboa Island. And I'm please asking you to not hold it against the island as a whole for the actions of the few. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wants to address us?
Yes, I'm Bob Cook. I live on Balboa Island. The Bears are back. I just want to say, after sitting through several sessions of these in the last couple of months, it makes me realize why I never cared about running for public office. I just commend you for the work you've done. Of course, you went in my favor. That helps. I'm assuming the vote will go no. I realize you haven't voted on that yet. Also, I would like to commend a couple of the board members, or council members, for returning my wife's call. That was very, very nice. I have to go home and ask her now if those two council members happen to be female. I don't know. And, just a final thing. I appreciate what the attorney had prepared this material. It really is very nicely done. It did say lots of authority that you had, lots of may that you could do. You might be able to do this. But the one thing that said, the final point on this, I guess was on the ballot, if a majority protest exists based upon the value of the ballots received by the city clerk prior to the close of the meeting, such as the underground utility assessment district, will not occur. And I think that's what bothered all of us at the time. Will not occur. That doesn't sound like that is very confusing. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name's Linda Martin. It has been mentioned by several council persons that if this did not go through, you might break Balboa Island into smaller districts and try to pass it. This happened on the peninsula. Can it happen on Balboa Island?
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, I'll close public comments, so I'll bring it back to council. I think the appropriate action would be recommendation number 2 in the staff report. I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll move the action number 2, that we abandon the assessment proceedings and adopt a resolution for the abandonment of assessment district number 87, and that we approve a budget amendment appropriating $770,000 from the unappropriated general fund balance to cover the project design, engineering, and other expenses incurred to date that will not be recovered by the city.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Please vote.
Motion carries.
Okay. Council has taken its action on this item. I just want to make everyone aware that these ballots are now public record, and if anyone wants to inspect them, they can make arrangements with the city clerk. When would that be, to do that, if they want to look at them? You can call the city clerk anytime and make arrangements to look at them. I'd like to thank everyone for their demeanor this evening. It made the process, I know it was emotional for a lot of you, but it made the process tonight a lot easier, so thank you very much for that. And with that, I think we're to motions for reconsideration.
A motion to reconsider the vote on any action taken by the City Council at either this meeting or the previous meeting may be made only by one of the council members who voted with the prevailing side.
Okay, any motions for reconsideration? Okay, seeing none, we're adjourned.